Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Midweek Minutes. This past Sunday, we continued our study in the book of 1 Peter, and our passage was 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 8 and 9. Let me read it for you. Finally, all of you should be of one mind, full of sympathy toward each other, loving one another with tender hearts and humble minds. Don't repay evil for evil. Don't retaliate when people say unkind things about you. Instead, pay them back with a blessing. That is what God wants you to do, and He will bless you for it. The title of the message was, What Does God Want? Now, the Apostle Peter is telling the believers, including us, some things that God wants for our life. And first and foremost, God wants us to put our faith and trust in Jesus Christ. And when we're in that relationship, God wants us to live our best life. And oftentimes, our best life is not an easy life. In fact, we have challenges that are external, that are coming at us. But I think even more dangerous than the external challenges are the internal challenges. You know, our thoughts and our feelings, they can get in the way of us doing what God wants. You know, this morning when I got out of my bed at 5:30, I didn't want to go riding. I didn't want to put forth the effort to get dressed and now have to go through this rigorous course of riding. But I want to live my best life physically. I want to be active and healthy. And so I had to put my feelings aside and do the right thing. You know, years ago, I went cycling, and as I was struggling, there was a group of professional cyclers, I think, that rode past me. And they didn't ride past me and keep quiet. They said something to me, and that stuck with me. They said these simple words, keep pedaling. And that's what we got to do. We got to keep pedaling, even if it doesn't feel good, even if it is more challenging, even if as we keep pedaling, we encounter more difficulty. But guess what? We can do it. Now in this passage, the Apostle Peter is telling the believers that we are to be tender-hearted, sympathetic to one another, kind and loving. You know, when believers get together, it should be a symphony of sympathy. We ought to just be loving on one another. And that's what God wants for us to do. He wants us to be a living example of what a life committed to Jesus Christ looks like. It looks like love. It looks like joy. It looks like all the things that so many people are trying to fill with other things. A hole that only God can fill. Now I told you, I didn't feel like going riding this morning, but I just kept pedaling. I kept doing the right thing. And I'm not going to be in tip-top shape just from that one experience of overcoming my feelings. But when I make it a lifestyle to do the right thing, I'll see the results and I'll have a healthy life to show for it. In the same way, when we make a lifestyle out of doing what God wants, we'll see the results. And believe me, you can do it. You can control your emotions. We're to have dominion over them. If you don't believe me, if you can't get with the bike example, how about this? A few weeks ago, Pedro and Ogo brought in Eliana, and it was her first time in church. And despite how many people may have felt, they put on the Google eyes. You know when you see a baby? Oh, you're so cute. Oh, look at her. She's so precious. No matter what mood you're in, if somebody puts a baby in front of your face, you're going to be tender. You're going to be responding in a positive way. I don't think anyone has ever had a baby placed in front of them and they said, get that cute baby out of my face. So that just goes to show you, we can overcome our feelings. We can do the right thing. And as we do the right thing, which is what God wants us to do, then we'll get the blessing. Our last point on Sunday was God wants to bless his children, but he's just waiting for you to do the right thing. So I encourage you, do the right thing. Today is the day of salvation. The best choice we can make is in the present. Stop putting off what you know God has told you to do and do what God wants you to do. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Midweek Minutes. I hope to see you again next week. Goodbye for now. I gotta stretch.